What's up everybody, this is Scott with 512 Garage and I'm back with another video. Welcome to a three-part series where we're going to be changing the appearance of the C7 Grand Sport with some help from our friends at Extreme Online Store. That's right, we're going to be installing the ZR1 ZTK high wing spoiler, the ZR1 front splitter, and the ZR1 side vents. And we now have all of the parts and accessories from EOS up on the 512garage.com website. So hop on over and check it out. Now, let's get the C7 in the garage so I can stop talking and start working. All this and more happening right here, right now in the 512 Garage. All right, you guys, here it is, the ZR1 ZTK high wing spoiler from Extreme Online Store. And guys, this thing is huge and awesome, just like the real ZTK high wing spoiler on the ZR1. Now, this one is finished in carbon flash metallic, which is great because it's going to match all of the other carbon flash parts on my C7. The wing does not come shipped like this though. There is some prep work that you need to do in order to get it ready for installation. And I have another video that I'll link above my head and down in the description for you to check out. Not a big deal, just some brackets and the end caps and the stabilizer bars need to be installed before you put the wing on the car. Now, speaking of putting the wing on the car, I have all of the parts laid out on the table over there, the brackets and all of the hardware for you to check out before we install this wing. So let's hop over to the other side of the garage and see what comes with this kit. All right guys, so here it is, all of the brackets, hardware and parts that come with that ZTK high wing spoiler from EOS. And the first thing I want to show you is the spoiler base. So you will get a new spoiler base with this kit for your car. And you can see it has the holes cut out already for the stanchions. Now, you will need to cut two small holes in your back bumper before installing this kit. Now, the good thing is, if you ever want to go back to your stock spoiler, when you put your old base spoiler back on the car, it will cover these holes. So you got to keep that in mind when you're installing this kit. You will need to cut two small holes and you will see that later on in this video. Now let's cover some of the brackets and hardware that we have here. Now, of course, we have the two stanchions. They will mount to the chassis of your car and come through the base spoiler just like this, right? And then the high wing spoiler will attach to these stanchions. Now, all of the other parts you see here have to do with mounting these to the chassis of your car. So we have these brackets here connect directly to the chassis. We have these brackets here that connect this bracket here, and it kind of builds on itself like a set of Legos. And then of course you have a bag of hardware, various screws and washers and nuts in that bag. Now, we've already used some of this hardware to install the brackets on the spoiler itself. So again, if you want to hop over and check that video out so you can see just what's involved with getting that spoiler prepped. Now, I'm tired of talking already. I'm ready to start working on that car. The first thing we need to do is get the whole back bumper off of the C7. So let's go do that. All right guys, to remove the rear bumper from this car, it really is just a series of Torx head screws and a couple bolts holding it on. And so we'll have to remove some trim panels, including the ones around the taillights. So we're gonna put down some painter's tape so we don't scratch that rear bumper. Now, once we get all of those screws out, it's just a firm tug on the rear bumper and it will pop right off. Then we'll remove some electrical connections, get the bumper out of the way, and get started mounting those brackets. All right guys, in order to get to the two T15 Torx screws that are in this part of the bumper, you're gonna have to remove this panel, and it pops out just like this. All right guys, we have two more T15 screws to remove, then this bumper is ready to come off. Now they are tucked up on the outside edge of the rear taillight, right inside of here. And what I found to work is using a magnet as you go in to loosen the screw and catch the screw before it falls with the magnet. And believe it or not guys, I've done this before and it's worked every time. And there it is. All right, you guys, now that all the screws and bolts have been removed, it's time to get this bumper off the car, and look who showed up to give us a hand.
What's up, guys? Scott, I'm really excited to get this thing off the car and get the spoiler installed.
All right, let's do it.
All right guys, so now that we have the bumper over here on the table, we're gonna use a 7mm ratchet to take out the stock taillight so that we can get to all the hardware that holds the spoiler on. And with the taillight out of the way, you can see all the hardware inside the bumper here that holds the spoiler on, these silver nuts right here.
All right guys, with Greg over there working on the rear spoiler, I'm gonna start working out back here to get that bracket installed. And the first thing we need to do is get rid of this thing. All right, you guys, now that we've got everything out of the way back here, it's time to make some room for those brackets. Now, the adhesive that is used to bond the body panels together oozes out and gets real hard back here. So you can use an old chisel and a hammer to get rid of it. And you can see it right back here on the back of the car. All right, now that we've got all of that excess adhesive out of the way, we can now put our brackets into place and start attaching everything with all of this stainless hardware and some blue Loctite. All right guys, now it's time to come over and check out what Greg's doing here with the rear bumper. I think it's time to start cutting. With the brackets all in place and the hardware tight, we're ready to bring that back bumper over now that we've got the new spoiler base installed and those holes cut out. So, true test, we'll see how well everything lines up.
right, guys, this wraps up the prep for putting the spoiler on. We got the back bumper on and all assembled. We got this lower spoiler on, looking great, and we have the stanchions in place, and these are solid. You can shake the car with these things. Scott, let's get this spoiler on.
Yeah, man, I cannot wait to see what this is going to look like on the C7.
Look at that.
Wow.
That's going to be cool.
Yeah, that looks awesome. All right, let's get this thing bolted into place before it falls off.
All right, guys, now that we checked that all these are tight, let's get this thing out of the garage and see what this looks like.
All right, you guys, that does it. We're all wrapped up with the ZTK high wing spoiler on the C7, and what do you think?
I think it looks killer. It just needs a front lip to go with it. Scott, is that going to have to be the next video? Did I just spoil it?
Spoiler alert.
That was so cheesy.
That was bad. Anyway, guys, that does it for another video. Remember, we have all of the EOS parts and accessories for your Corvette up on the Five12Garage.com website. We also have some merch, so if you like this shirt and you like this hat, hop on over to Five12Garage.com and pick one up for yourself. And if this is your first time to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. And as always, leave us some comments because we love interacting with people who love cars and Corvettes just as much as we do. Till next time.
See you guys.